Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm Fidelis Noga II. In this session, we're going to talk about why wealthy people. Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Fidelis Noga II. In this session, I'll be talking to you today about why the law of resonance chooses your marriage partner. Now listen, the most important decision that you're going to make in your entire life is based upon the person you have across from you. The person that you choose to share your life with, to share your adventures with, your experiences with, to share your growth with, your journey with, your destiny with, that's the most important person in your life. But how do you choose it? Is it the butterflies in your stomach? Is it the calming presence or the calm words that they give to you, or the impressive first liners that they gave you whenever you first met them, or maybe it was the sharp way that they looked, or their smile, or their physique, or their aesthetics. What was it really? I'm here to tell you that it was none of that. It was based on resonance. Resonance is the word that you're going to look at when you deem, how am I going to pick my partner? Your partner is going to come based on resonance. This is a quantum physics perspective. And what this means is that resonance means when you are in resonance with something, when you are in resonance with anything, okay, you are basically in a sound mechanism that is balanced, that is matched up alongside between two channels. What that means, you have person A and person B. You can have a group of 1,000 people in an event center. You can have a group of 1,000 people in a park. You being person A has a specific sound frequency that you are giving off at every moment, time, point, and space. And the people whom you meet can only be in the same resonance with you. Because if you aren't in the same resonance, you'll never meet them. That's how people say it's a small world. It's not really a small world at all. Your world is small because the people whom you're in resonance with is not a large group to choose from. So if you understand this, what you understand is that when you are producing a certain signal based upon, again, resonance, this signal that you're giving off is allowing you to be attractive to somebody of the opposite sex or gender. Your pheromones, the way that you speak, the way that you think, the way that you move, all these things have a certain level of frequency to them. Now, the way that you find a marriage partner is a different way that people think about it in a Disney movie. You don't just fall in love with somebody miraculously and you're head and shoulders and head and over heels in love with this person, and all of a sudden everything is great, and then you just meet this person and now you just, it's everything is great. It's not how it works. How it really works is, this is what happens to a person. When a person finds someone that's in resonance, that's in harmony with whom they're being, they all of a sudden find this person extremely attractive because they find this person a fit. This person is a mirror in the perspective of how they see themselves. So the person across from you, even right now, if you are married right now, and this is why people need to understand this, especially wealthy people, because the most expensive liability that you have as a wealthy person is divorce. And let me tell you why, in case you did not know this. If I told you here it goes. So you will have, let me give you guys the top 10 most expensive divorce. Here are the top 10 most expensive divorces in history. Now, this is why this is important, because some divorces don't just break hearts. They break your bank account. And this is why, as a wealthy person or a high net worth individual, you should understand this law of resonance in order to pick your marriage partner. Here's some of the most expensive splits in history. This is based on the reported settlements. You have Bill and Melinda Gates at $76 billion in 2021. That was the most expensive divorce ever recorded. Bill and Melinda Gates, $76 billion. Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott at half of that, $38 billion in 2019. And Mackenzie also received a 4% stake in Amazon. You have Alec and Jocelyn Waldenstein, which is $3.8 billion in 1999, plus $100 million annually for 13 years. Rupert Murdoch and Anna Murdoch, 1999, $1.7 billion. Bill Gross and Sue Gross, $1.3 billion in 2017. Bernie Ecclestone and Slavica, $1.2 billion in 2009. Steve and Elaine Wynn, $1 billion in 2010. Shai Taiwan and Rose Saw Young, $1 billion in 2024. Harold Ham and Sue Ann Arnold, $975 million in 2012. And Adnan and Soraya Khashoggi, $874 million in 1980. So these literally, what happens in terms of divorce is all of a sudden you have these high profile divorces with billionaires, wealthy people. What happens is you shift the power structure in the economy. You shift the power structure within a household, shift the power structure within business ownership. And all it is an effect. It has an effect. There's 5 distinct things that you're going to see. First off, you have a shift in individual wealth rankings. Because when Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott got divorced, she instantly became one of the wealthiest women in the world. But she probably had no aspiration of doing that. And what she's been doing is giving away a lot of money every year based on philanthropic work. Because I don't think she really has an interest in being very, very wealthy. But she was married to someone who did. What these splits do is they dramatically alter global wealth rankings and they influence philanthropic landscapes. And so Scott's large-scale charitable giving post-divorce has been seen to not take a hit, but take a growth. Number 2, redistribution within households. In community property states like California, assets are typically split 50-50. This leads to a more balanced distribution of wealth between spouses, especially when one partner was the primary earner. Number 3, impact on business ownership. Divorces involving business empires lead to restructuring or selling off of shares to meet settlement terms. This can dilute ownership, shift control, or even affect stock prices if the company is publicly traded. Number 4, legal and financial industry ripple effects. These cases fuel demand for forensic accountants, valuation experts, and high-end legal teams. They also set precedences for future settlements, influencing how courts handle asset division in complex cases. That means it goes down to everyone else, what they do at the top. Number 5, symbolic and social implications. On a broader scale, these divorces highlight the concentration of wealth and how personal relationships can influence economic structures. They also spark public discourse on fairness, gender roles, and financial independence. So, what I am expressing to you is that resonance is the key. Now, let me also get into more detail. Resonance being the chemistry in a person. A person's chemistry is what determines what frequency that they're at. A person who is mentally deficient, a person who does not have the structure on the internal landscape that's keeping them healthy and harmonized within themselves. A person who has a bad relationship within themselves is going to have a bad relationship outside themselves. So let me explain what this means. That means that a person who has a structured biochemistry that is not conducive to health. What is health really? Everyone's gonna die eventually. So you can look at a healthy person and say, the rate that you age, the rate that you essentially dehydrate, is determined what determines your actual state of health. The rate at which you dehydrate, because people don't just die, people dehydrate. That's essentially why you lose the functions and capabilities that you have as a youth. Because as a youth, you begin your life full of water. But as you age and as you get older, you lose that water. And that's because of thinking, that's because of how much you eat, what you drink, your lifestyle, what you're doing, how much you're moving or not moving. Everything is predicated on the amount of water that you can hold within your vessel throughout your entire life. So a person's biochemistry is altering the way that they see themselves in their partnership. If your marriage is struggling right now, look at the person across from you and look at their biochemistry. This is for anyone, but especially wealthy people. Because if you're a wealthy person, let me ask you a few questions. You're a wealthy person. Why are you ordering Uber Eats to go get the food to eat? That's trash. If you're a wealthy person, why do you drink any ounce of alcohol that's low vibrational, drains your energy field? If you're a wealthy person, why do you smoke? Whether it's a cigar or a cigarette. Why would you think that taking an opioid or drugs would be conducive to growth or health? All these are signals, and these signals change your behavior. When your behavior changes, obviously, your relationship changes. So think about this. If you're a wealthy person, why would you even consume meat or dairy products? Knowing that these foods are the lowest energy on the spectrum of actions of energy. You're supposed to be high vibrational, right? Well, high vibrational would mean you eat the high vibrational diet. But most wealthy people don't. They just continue on the process of doing what they were doing maybe when they were kids. And so this all adds up to either a harmonious relationship or an inharmonious one. So what I've noticed is that you can't be a barbecue and steak eater your entire life and your partner be plant-based. Eventually, it's going to come to a point where that's no longer in harmony because that's no longer in resonance. One person does this, one person does this. And because of the simple fact that one person's a carnivore and one person is you can say vegan or vegetarian or plant-based, one person's for the earth, one person doesn't care much about the earth, or one person cares about energy, one person doesn't care much about energy, or they're just ignorant to it. And also, one person's open to learning, one person's not open to learning, one person's closed off. You gotta look at it and say, if you're open or if you're closed. You can't have a person that's open to growth and a person that's closed off to growth and think that there's gonna be harmony. This is not. So one person may wanna get as much impact and affect the world in as many ways as they possibly can, and one person doesn't wanna do that. That's not gonna work. It's like saying somebody wants to be president of the United States, or maybe the woman wants to be president of the United States, and the gentleman doesn't want to be the first man, or the lady doesn't want to be the first lady. Well, it's going to be hard for you to be a president of the United States if your partner does not want to be alongside you in the White House. It's probably not going to work. So you probably have to leave them to find someone who has a vision that is equal, if not greater, than your own. Because if you can't find someone that is in resonance with where you're trying to go, you're never going to get there. So here is one thing that people fail to realize, that suppressed rage is the cause of all autoimmune disease. It's suppressed rage. You're mad at somebody for something. And because of that, you turn your liver off, your liver turns off. Now that organ in that gland is not going to be activated correctly. Now all of a sudden the kidneys and the adrenals are going to be turned down. So many wealthy people that I see are suffering from autoimmune disease. And this is a epidemic essentially because of ignorance. It's just ignorance to what they're putting out. They follow the golden rule perspective in business. They follow the golden rule perspective in how they're going to build their companies and build their systems. But they do not follow the golden rule principle in how they are building themselves in terms of their own self-care. And this is where I see the biggest problem, because many other people are so impactful and influential amongst society that they don't understand that everyone's following them. They think of them as the gold standard. Just because you got money doesn't mean you're smart. Some people can just be really stupid, but very rich. and very wealthy. So, in terms of relationships, your biochemistry determines harmony. If you are not chemically equal on the playing field where your pH is 7.35 to 7.55, you're in a heightened, just over neutral, going towards alkaline state in your blood. If you have an acidic partner, that acidic partner is going to project onto you nothing but negativity and toxic behavior. And also based on entanglement. Entanglement means I share my physiology with you, whether it's sexually transmitted, whether it's just transmitted by me walking alongside you in the room or in the hallway. That is how you see entanglement. And frustration in terms of suppressed anger and rage. Many people have this, and they have so much bitterness and resentment towards their partnership because of their lack of self-care. Let me tell you all this. When you do not take care of yourself, when you refuse the accountability to take care of your own life task, meaning your own needs, and you fail to show up for yourself as your best self, the person alongside you, across from you, in the mirror perspective, that's your partner, marriage partner, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, domestic partner, whatever it may be, romantic partner, that person is going to suffer because you are only seeing them how you see yourself. If you don't change the person's seeing, you can't see them any different. You may have anger, rage, resentment, judgment, all types of negative feelings, envy. So many couples that I see have competition based. They speak competition in every facet instead of speaking in terms of a team, in terms of harmony and camaraderie. They don't look at themselves as I'm here for you, you're here for me, I'm here to serve you, you're here to serve me. It's not how it works. And so unfortunately, all these things alter the chemistry of a person. Your emotions are records of the past, but those records are only chemical records. They're based upon the hormones and the chemicals, whether positive or negative, in terms of good or bad, fight or flight, or growth and repair. Those chemicals mixed with those hormones, cortisol being a stress hormone, adrenaline, norepinephrine, those being negative stress hormones. And then you have vasopressin or HGH and oxytocin and dopamine being positive, great, happy hormones. When these things are mixed with the chemicals that you put into your body, and all of a sudden they're projected onto somebody else across from you, if this person is not in resonance with them, they're going to reject them. Here's where your arguments begin. This is a higher level perspective than you going to therapy. You need to understand that deficiency is what's causing the breaks. This is what's causing the arguments. Okay? You aren't supposed to have painful menstrual cycles, women. You shouldn't have painful periods. So it shouldn't be a case where at the end of the month, you turn into a complete psychopath or something. That's not how it works. Men, you should not have awful reproductive energy. So you shouldn't have erectile dysfunctions. You shouldn't have a lack of flow. You should also not have brain fog, either of you. The majority of these issues come from a dehydrated system, a dehydrated body, and a body that has mineral deficiency and nutrient and vitamin deficiency. This stems mainly from what are you eating? So if I told you that your diet from you to your spouse is what's causing the divorce, not only your diet of food and beverage, your diet of thinking, your diet of perception and belief, your diet of exercise or lack thereof, all of these things matter, especially your diet of spirituality. Say you have a problem with a spouse that snores at night. You breathe through your nose, your spouse breathes through your mouth, breathes through their mouth. That person's in fight or flight, you're in growth and repair. Literally, you're not in resonance. Something as simple as breathing. So you see people walking around, especially wealthy people again. The majority of the men and the women have big guts, inflamed guts. Whenever they eat food, immediately they have an inflammatory response, or a mucus response. And this is coming strictly from a lack of hydration, mainly. And also the foods that they're consuming are also just not healthy food. So resonance is powerful for you guys to understand. If you're not on the same level of frequency, if one of you wants to be a billionaire and one of you is just fine making $100,000 a year, you shouldn't get married. If one of you is a vegan and vegetarian and one of you is a carnivore, you shouldn't get married. If one of you is a outdoor enthusiast and one of you likes to write and draw pictures and paint in the basement, you shouldn't get married. You got to find someone who's in harmony with the person whom you are being or desiring to be, meaning your future self. If your future self sees this person right here with you, you will feel that you're in harmony. The last thing I will tell you is that when you meet somebody, butterflies in your stomach is not some futtery thing that you need to be telling everybody that you got butterflies in your stomach and this person gave you the chills and your hair standing up on edge and everything, and that's not a good thing. That's called a stress response. That's your infinite subconscious mind telling you this person is a threat to you. It knows before you know. So no more Disney movie relationships. No more of that. Actually focus on the sound that they're giving off and how it makes you feel. The one that you walk right into, the one that you feel so much in harmony with, is the one that doesn't give you some crazy level of feedback. It doesn't do that. On the contrary, it guides you to harmony. And you may have to go through some things with this person. You may have to get this person to see a different level of themselves, but they'll accept it. They won't resist it. Resistance isn't cool. It's not fun. Not something that you want to go through, especially if you're wealthy or not. It just matters if you're in a relationship. Resistance is not something that you want to focus on. For wealthy people, mainly, look at it from this perspective. Stop basing your judgments of your partners off of your emotion. It doesn't matter if their pocketbook has $100 million and yours does too. Okay, that's a thing that you need to match up to, because if you have a certain level of earning capacity and power, you don't want someone who does not have the same level or aspirations of earning the same level. But look at the lifestyle habits, because your personality creates your personal reality. If the personalities don't match, you're not going to be in resonance. Okay? This video resonated with you guys in any way, shape, or form. You thought it could help you in any way, shape, or form. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. And also, the next video is incredibly more powerful. Everyone that I put up is incredibly powerful. So just make sure you keep on following. Next one's going to be coming up sometime soon. All right? Love y'all. Peace. Also, click the link in my description below. You guys can see our products and services. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, retreats, special VIP events, give us a call, send us a DM, and apply to work with us. Love y'all.